Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Renaldo. Welcome to the Atlas Minute. And today I have a special guest. Typically, it's always realtors, loan officers. So I decided to go outside that realm today. And I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me on, Renaldo. My name is 𝐔𝐿𝐷𝐉𝐎. I am just a regular dude. I'm a husband, father, entrepreneur, part of the self-made family, and fitness-minded, business-minded. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Oh, definitely picking that niche and then, just putting all your effort behind it is going to help you become more successful. Everyone wants, there's too many hands and too many pots, and you're gonna tap out.
Right. It doesn't happen overnight. Even in real estate, I think people think, hey man, I'm gonna hit it big, and it's like, do you get rich selling one house? Is that how that works?
No.
Is that how that works, man? Because it's the same thing. It's like I was saying earlier, you can do something great one time, but can you do it consistently over and over again?
Yeah, exactly. So here's one for you though.
What's up?
For your career, if you could go back to when you started in 2010, right? And there's one thing that you could change to change the trajectory of your life, what would that be?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. I think two things. Can it be two things? I know you said one thing.
Yeah, you can say two things.
Time management was something that I struggle with. And I was just having a conversation with an individual about this, and another entrepreneur about this, who, it says that they struggle with ADHD and all these other things. And I was saying, yeah, I know what that's like. Yeah, I have that gift too. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
And when I say gift, I'm being facetious there, because the challenge that I had, my attention was all over the place. I get picked on or, made fun of it jokingly because of how much energy I have and that type of thing. But that's really because I have a high frequency and God just made me this way. But it also was a pain point for me, because I would waste a lot of time, or I would spend too much time doing one thing, or have to read something 5 times to understand it in the same time that one person could read it one time and understand it. So I had to learn how to learn. So time management was one of those things that if I could compress that time and manage it better, that's one thing. And then 2, really honestly, is learning another language early on. I think that now that I do understand a bit more Spanish, my wife is Mexican, so it helps me. But I think cognitively, when you start to pick up another language, I see that if you can, let's just say you're in the real estate business, right? And if you're bilingual, now you can communicate with twice as many people. That means you can sell to twice as many people that I can. You can appeal to 2 different audiences. And I didn't realize that until I got to California in 2014. And there were, people over here that were highly educated and had a college degree, but this person over here, when it was a high school education, and they were both clean cut, both individuals, but this guy could speak 2 languages and this one couldn't. And he was running laps around this other one. And I was like, oh, shoot. So those are 2 things that I wish I would have improved.
I do see that in our industry. A lot of successful realtors do speak multiple languages, and they use it to their advantage. That's definitely a trait that I wish I would have picked up on, man, because my wife's Mexican as well, and I still barely speak Spanish. I know enough if she yells at me, right?
Yeah. If you're not doing something right, or you need to order food, got it. Yeah.
And time management I believe that's probably the most important thing, right? 1, don't waste your time, and be more meaningful with your time, right? Setting that schedule and kind of sticking to it. We have a guy here. He has, I think they call it the core training, and he's going through this process. And honestly, the way he operates is from like 8 to 12, he's working, and from 12 o'clock to 1:30, he's on lunch. Like no matter what. From 1:30 till 2:30, he's making phone calls. And that's all he's doing for that hour and a half. And he just strictly stick to that time. And honestly, I just signed up for a challenge starting January 5th, where I'm going to go 112 for 100 days, 12 hours a day. I'm going to stick to a set schedule of trying to focus and see how my business change in the next 100 days. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I think that's probably my biggest downfall right now in the industry is time management. A lot of times something comes up, especially when you're brand new and you feel that you have to just jump on it or you might lose it. If you lose it, now I understand. If I lose it, maybe it wasn't that important anyway. So it's like, all right, oh, hey, can you do this? Let me check your schedule first to make sure I'm available, right?
Let me ask you this. Is the guy that you were just talking about, is he military?
Yes.
I have a feeling. But the military guys, you see this, it's quite common. You guys understand systems and processes. And that's a thing that's installed in you some way or shape or form in your life. If you've ever been institutionalized or you've ever been in the military, systems and processes. And the reason why I say that so much is a good friend of mine, he's another entrepreneur, and he helps us out a lot. He started an extremely successful CRM, and it's awesome. But he's from the Marine Corps as well too, and he's always systems and processes, man. Everything has to have system and process behind it. But it's funny, whenever you chalk out and you're like, this time is set for this time, it's not for anything else. It's designated to this and nothing else. What you can actually yield in results and get done.
Yeah, agreed. And it's funny that you went back, you spoke about the books, like you have to read something a few times before. Actually, from your class, I think the first one I went to when you were talking about 𝐷𝐉𝐎𝐒, I believe that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
I went back and like looked him up and stuff like that, and I started listening to his first book. And one thing that he says about listening to his books is you have to do two things. It's a sales pitch, but it makes sense. So his sales pitch is like, you should buy the hard copy, but you should also buy the Audible, and you should be reading along while you're listening to the book. And honestly, that's been a game changer for me. Listening while reading a book, hard copy in my hand, has helped me retain so much more inside of that book than before, because I was a big Audible guy where I'll just listen to books all the time, and sometimes I'd have to listen to them 2-3 times before I got the full picture. But once I shift that method to listening and reading, mindset shift. So yeah, I did steal that from one of your classes that you gave.
Yeah.
I try to jump in.
Yeah,
as much as
𝐷𝐉𝐴 is a savage. We really like what he's done. Obviously, he has multiple successful businesses. But I think overall, the way he's able to think, the cognitive thinking skills that he uses, and when we're able to take and apply those same methods, you can kind of swipe out and really get systematic with your thinking. Just learning how to learn. We're all different. We all learn at different phases and frequencies and things like that. Everybody has different gifts and talents and blessings and abilities, or whatever you want to say. But it's learning how to learn. Like, how do you digest information the best? And is it something that's like relative to your space? Like, if it's something real estate, you're already kind of in that, you already understand it. Or if it's a similar space, that it would be easier for you to pick up. But if it's something brand new to you, you're like, that sounds like Chinese to me. And that's been a lot of tech stuff with me. But I've gotten better at it. And then I noticed I start to get that momentum. So I'm learning more phrases, learning more terms, and we constantly want to push the envelope on our learning, but I think that Alex does a great job with that.
Yeah, he does, man. And, just constantly finding people that's going to help to be successful, man. So I know I don't want to take up too much of your time, man.
Good, man.
Another part of it too that I do wanted to talk to you about is, especially with your industry, right? It's hard to do stuff with your income. Any entrepreneur, it's always hard to buy anything, right? Because it's like, oh, we're all 1099 employees, so we have businesses, different things like that. What's been the guide that you've given those guys when it comes to, if you want to buy a house, this is what you need to do? Or there hasn't been anything pushed on that?
Yes and no. As far as I'm not a financial advisor. Fair warning, I am not a financial advisor. But me personally, I would say once you start to make a certain amount of income, what are you doing with the money? How are you leveraging it? I can speak from personal experience, like what I know and what I've been able to do. I know what it's like to have ruined your credit. I look at it as like, if you look at business, it's like a game. If you look at credit, it's like a game. I think, again, going back to like cognitive thinking, you can like swipe out. Picture if you have an iPhone or Android, right? You swipe out and of the apps, and it has like your calculator and your camera and your browser and your text messages. And then you can kind of like, okay, let's look at the calculator. And then you can open that up and you can swipe out and like, okay, let's look at the camera roll. So being able to kind of swipe out and say, well, okay, yes, I'm a health and fitness professional. And I always tell people this all the time, because we have a large amount of trainers. Then we have a very large relationship on a national level with a company that does all the certifications for trainers to help people get certified. But our job is to not get them certified. Our job is to help them make money as entrepreneurs and grow. But oftentimes trainers and fitness professionals, they get stuck in what I like to call, it's not a real term, but it's called trainer brain, where it's like they show up, I'm just going to train these sessions, and it's like so mechanical what they're doing. I'm helping this person gain muscle or, you know, burn fat or whatever it is that they're doing. But for me, it's like, well, let's zoom out for a second. You have the ability to work for yourself. You have the ability to grow your own business. You have the ability to make and set your own schedule, leverage your time, leverage your income, all these different things. So what are you doing with it once you start to reach a level of success, whatever that may be for them? Because that's different for everybody. If you ask a trainer over here, like, what is success to you? They may say, oh, well, I'm happy making $5,000 or $6,000 a month. And it's like, well, you must be new here, right? Because in last time I checked, you know, to make a livable wage and you know, provide for a home, it's you got to be making a decent amount of money these days. So it's like, how can you leverage and make more income? But once they do get there, it's like, okay, is this your personal money? Are you taking all as personal income and you're just saying you're self-employed? Are you a sole proprietor? Are you going to develop an LLC? And then from there, how are you going to leverage your credit? Is this all personal credit? Are you leveraging business credit, corporate credit? How exactly are you doing this? What does that pay structure look like? And when are you paying yourself? How much of this are you paying yourself? And are you investing back into your business? Because they may not understand simple things like, well, rather than me sitting here and texting my clients and say, hey, Renaldo, see you in 30 minutes for your session, hoping that you actually show up for your session, that you can just get a piece of technology that does that for you now. And you can communicate one to many all at once, or you can be having multiple conversations, or automation can, or there's a lot of different ways to leverage that. But as far as tuning it towards getting a home, I think that when I think of, you know, getting financially approved to get into a home and get set up is, do you have the finances? What's your credit look like? Do you have any sort of cash or collateral? Like what do you have that will qualify you as a buyer for a home? But yeah, I think as they're going through these processes, to not get stuck in trainer brain, have a long-term goal. And I've told them so many times, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, is stop talking to me about your goal and start telling me about your plan. And if you don't have a plan, let's come up with one. Because a plan is something that we can take actionable steps on. A goal is like, that's the goal. Wow, sounds great. But how exactly are we going and reaching that? But anyways, man.
That's amazing, man. That you guys are pushing that, because not a lot of people are pushing that agenda to, let's say, their, you know, employees or independent contractors, right? I know, like with you, the goal is to, at least with the self-made family, from the friends that I do have that work inside of your guys' organization, is we're here to create business owners. This is your own business, where other companies are like, oh no, man, you need to be calling, trying to convince all these people to become private trainers. So that's awesome, man, because you're pushing them to be more than just a autopilot on the phone, just making these phone calls. So I just want to say I appreciate you taking the time to just, you know, jumping on this call with me, man. Like, I remember the first time we met, just had like a really strong conversation, man, and just your energy you gave off is extreme. And after sitting through some of the classes that you actually give to the trainers that work inside of your guys' organization, and just watching you expand, it's motivational watching you on Instagram, man. And I was just like, man, I gotta sit down and talk to Gabe to see, you know, I was just like, man, this dude would kill it in real estate.
You're like, come on over to my team, man. I got yeah. No, absolutely. I think the ceiling is high, no matter what. It's not for me, for everybody. I mean, I meant this to just people in general, and it's we deal with a lot of different personal trainers and coaches and things like that. But at the end of the day, when you're talking to these people, all it is you're talking to someone and you ask them, like, what's your goal? It's like, I want to help people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, get in better shape, yada, yada, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, it's like, do you understand that that's a service-based business and the experience needs to be great? So if you don't know how to make a great experience, you have to start creating one. And I think that that's great energy. You're the metaphorical owner of your own life. And in order to do that, it really encapsulates three things. It's the relationships you build, because so many times in business, I cannot tell you how many times who I know got me further than what I know, right? The communication skills that you develop. So relationships you build, the communication skills that you develop, because it has to be consistent. Like, you have to learn how to communicate better and better and better all the time, becoming a master communicator. And then third, this is the most important thing to me, is how you make people feel. People will always remember how you make them feel. And that is why I would go and, buy a home from you, or, you go through y'all's company to buy a home. Or that's why someone goes to that restaurant or goes to this person to get their nails or their hair done or whatever it is. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I completely agree with that. It's like, you want them to feel the joy of, whether it's buying a home, getting in shape, you have to make them feel like they're enjoying the process, right? Because especially getting in shape, it's not always going to be fun.
Yeah, buying a home sounds boring as hell to me too. It's like contracts and paperwork and offers, and it's like somebody, it's like getting approved and all these other things. It's like, man, maybe we just stay where we're at for another 2-3 years, babe.
Yeah, so definitely, man. And again, just want to ask if there's one piece of advice you'll give to everyone before we end. Just give it out. What's that quote that keeps you going?
I would say self-invest daily. If you follow me on social media, you'll see I post the word daily. Yeah, on my note. And all that means is just to self-invest daily. And it's made up of three things. It's your body, your mind, and your spirit. Your body's going to fail. You're going to get tired. You're going to get sick. You're going to get old. Your mind's going to fail. You're going to forget what you're going to want to say. You're going to not always be the smartest person, the most educated person. But your spirit is what carries. That's what people feel. That's what people really remember. That's what people really connect with. So when you do that and you self-invest in those three things daily, you're going to be awesome.
That's amazing advice, man. And once again, thank you, Gabe, for joining. This has been the Atlas Minute. And if you're not following Gabe, just go ahead and shout out your Instagram.
Simply it's just at Gabe David, and then the David has 2 eyes, so David.
Yeah.
I'll see you around.
All right, brother. Take care.
Peace.